Oi, oi, vibes here.
I'm DJ Reminisce. This is Paul Louise.
Hi, my name's Robbie Edwards.
My name's MC Hurricane.
I'm DJ Reminisce.
Hey, this is Mark Simon. I'm John Edge. MC Lloyd
Stevie Wonder.
Hi, this is Bob K.
I'm Les Calvert. I'm DJ City T.
Yes, this is the JFMC. You're listening to the Couture 303 podcast with J Viper, baby. Welcome back, everyone, to another special episode of the Couture 303 podcast. And my guest today is none other than one and only Ant Chandler. There he is. How are we, mate?
Hello. Yeah, good, mate. Good to see you.
This is another one of them, you see. People don't understand what goes on behind the scenes. You said you'd do this, what? Fucking 3-4 months ago?
Yeah, a while ago. I have been absolutely, as you've seen it, I have been up the wall.
Yeah, and it's the same story. Obviously, as the podcast grows and you get more established people on, you're gonna encounter that even more because if they weren't busy, you probably wouldn't want them on the podcast. Do you know what I mean? So that's how it is. Right, I'm gonna start like I always do with all my guest stands. So where and when were you born, mate?
1985 February. Born in Western Aussie, but I grew up in Ayton. Yeah, Ayton, born and bred. Pretty much. I've literally travelled the world and somehow ended up back living in Ayton.
So what was your family unit like? Have you got brothers and sisters and stuff?
Yeah, got like an older brother, younger brother. Older brother was a raver. He was into like Club Kinetic and stuff like that. So I grew up on Stu Allen CDs and stuff like that. Mum and dad, I had a really stable life. My mum and dad, you know, they, like most people that generation, they went out every weekend and a couple of times a week and stuff like that. But just that's just the way it was then. But they weren't early clubbers into pubs. In fact,
it was like the Legion and stuff like that. One in the local.
It was. They're from like my dad's from Nedley, so.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. So he was always around like the Zodiac and stuff like that.
Whereabouts? I'm from Nedley.
He's from Naylesfield.
Shut up. That's not Nedley, is it?
Title, isn't it?
That's like saying fucking Witnesses Liverpool.
Yeah.
I fucking hell. So how old's your dad?
My dad's 62.
Oh, he's a bit slightly older than me then. I'm only 48, like, but yeah, fucking hell. I'm from Nedley myself. Yeah. You grew up in the middle Massey flats and then moved to Glebe by the Legion. I was there. In the early 20s and I just kind of dotted around a little bit after that.
I played a couple of seasons in the OLA League when I was a kid.
Because they played on the Legion field, didn't they?
That's right, yeah. So I played for the Zodiac and there was another team, can't remember now. But that we all had like, it was just, even though I wasn't from there, my dad was always there, so it just made sense, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So what were you like in school? Were you a good kid, naughty kid? What?
Yeah, I wasn't naughty or not. I was quite academic when I tried. I could be, if I liked it, I was into it. It's about 15, 16. I was just like, oh, this is not for me. I actually went to, so I was doing well and I got picked out as a student who was going to do well. So they sent me to Oxford University on a summer school in St. Catherine's College. When I was like 16, I'd done 3 weeks there and I realised I definitely don't want to go to university and all that when I was there. But if I would have took that route, I probably would have done it. I always thought I was going to get into like law or something like that. And when I done it, I couldn't stand it, mate. It was I just changed by then. You know, I'd had a lot more when I was just playing footy, sheltered, and then I didn't start really hanging out on the streets till I was like 15, 16. I was quite, because I was just into me footy, computer games, stuff like that. I had mates, but I was just footy on the back and wasn't even any good at it, just like playing it.
Yeah. What computers were you on then? Was that about a PS2?
Oh, mate, it was a Hewlett Packard. Like,
actually, an actual computer, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then obviously I had PlayStations. Everyone had a PlayStation chip on as well.
Yeah.
All the games.
Can't afford them 40 quid games.
Exactly, yeah. So I had all that, and then I got picked out when I was like 14, and I went down there when I was close to 16. I've actually still in touch with people I went there with because they were a few of us all never ended up going that route at all. You know what I mean? So they picked them wrong, to be fair. I mean, but there's people who've done like extremely well in their field.
The thing is, and we're going off a little bit of a tangent here, but I've said this before about the education system. When is it 14 or 15, you pick your options.
14.
Who the fuck knows what they want to do when they're 14, 15? When you're a 14 or 15-year-old lad, all you want to do is get your fucking fingers or your dick wet. It's as simple as that. That's all you're interested in.
Exactly, and that's when when people started going out when we were because at that age you could get in. Say, I don't know if I get away with it, but certain clubs, the Buzz Club and the Pulse and all that, but they were pretty relaxed on the doors, so everyone but I still wouldn't go. But even in school, the music I was into was hip hop. I loved hip hop and rap. I loved at the time big rock stuff. To be fair, so I loved like Foo Fighters. I loved Slipknot, but I wasn't a goth. I just liked the music.
Got Joey on my hand there.
Joey Jordison. What a drummer, mate. Yeah. You know what it was? Seen on MTV 2 years ago, I was a kid. He had that drum kit that rotated.
That's right, yeah.
And it just, but you heard the drum going.
It was them the blast beats with his feet. He was fucking phenomenal, wasn't he?
Exactly. So I used to love all that. It should be a shame, but Limp Bizkit are massive.
Mate, I've got Eat You Alive tattooed on my leg. I love a bit of Bizkit, mate.
That's how it all. Like we were into that stuff. But my mates were all there. None of us were really house heads, but then we had a night out, and
everything changes.
Everything changed.
So you were saying before about the club scene. Always, I mean, I can remember going to Dome, and there was kids in there that I remember seeing. Kids, they looked about 14, 15. And looking back now, do you wonder if it was like the doorman kind of went, well, if it kicks off, we can fucking handle them, the kids?
It could just be that the club, it could have been, the clubs weren't doing so well.
Yeah. Let's be honest, kids haven't got a lot of money, have they? Kids aren't buying bottles of Moët at the fucking bar and all that.
No. And also, it might have been to do, a lot of them might like their older brothers and sisters and stuff, but there was a decent sized gap between mine and my older, not like 10, he just gone off by then, him and his mates. They were going to the Art Dock in 95, 96, I hadn't even started senior school by then. So by the time I was coming to going out, they were had met birds and they weren't going out as much, but now he's out every week now.
Reliving his youth.
Yeah.
So you're into your hip hop and your metal and your new metal and stuff like that. So when did it kind of change? So was it the first time you went clubbing that things kind of took a bit of a turn for you? Would you say?
Yeah. So when we were in school, he'd have on there'd be quiet, whatever. You'd go on there was a place for year 10s and 11s to go in, and a radio, and people would come in with house music on, and I'd be like, this is shit. It's just I weren't feeling it. Not slating any DJ, I just didn't like the music. And then I went with my mate who was starting to DJ, and I was always interested in it because of DJ Lethal and stuff like that in the bands, because they all had it, scratching and all that. But he was just buying the house records. I remember him buying Sonic, Feel So Good, and he bought Scoop, Drop It, and stuff like that. And at the time, I weren't feeling it, but I loved them now. I was just and he was like, these are amazing. And he'd put it on me, and I'd be like, yeah, it's all right. Yeah. And then I had so my first night out was when I just about to leave school, I think, and we went down Waver to the High Street because it was easy to get in. Everyone told us, and then it was grim. To be fair, so someone said, "We'll get in the aquarium. We'll get in the aquarium." We went down there, and I remember walking in and hearing clubheads hip hopping. Yeah, and I was like, "I know, big." Did you ever go to the aquarium?
Yeah,
loud. It had a Boss sound system. It had Boss lights. It was chocolate, and I just heard, hip hopping by clubheads, and I was soul went bang.
Who was playing when you went? Who was DJing in the aquarium back then? Was it
Rob Redman? I think Pat Anton was in there.
Yeah.
Who else would have been? I know Rob Redman because Rob Kane has got a photo of me in there when I'm 16, but you can't find it to this day. But I've seen it. He's had it, and he sent me it years ago, and he went, "This was you, ain't it? You were in there every week." And I was like, "Yeah," because I was one of them. Once I'd finally actually listened to it and been out in the environment, I got it then.
Yeah, the thing is, as well, it's like you say, it's not just the music. It's when you walk into a club and it's the atmosphere, the lights, the smoke, and it's the volume of the music, because you don't just fucking hear it, you feel it. You can feel it in your chest, can't you? You can feel it banging. I had Rob Kane reached out to me today, actually. Rob Kane's going to come on my podcast. Rob Kane was my episode 2, before it was even a podcast. And
so that's where I first heard your podcast.
Was it? Yeah. And he reached out to me today, saying he wants to come on again, which is going to be a bit of a weird dynamic for me, because obviously my podcasts are all of the same format, where they start off, where you grew up and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be a bit of a different one for me, but it'll take me out of my comfort zone a little bit. So I will get him on.
He's a top lad, though. You'll have
fucking legend, Rob.
Oh, belt. I see we DJ and Zen together, so literally on Saturday he come up to see me and so they seen him at our mate's wedding the other week. We just jangling for hours, not even about music and stuff.
just shooting the shit.
Boss lad. We talk about clobber. Oh, it's always clobber with Bob. You know what he's like for trainees.
Yeah.
And we were talking about like jackets and shit like that. But he's a top lad. Like what a DJ, by the way.
Yeah, fucking hell, mate. I mean, I remember way back when we're talking like fucking hell, must have been early 2000s, and Ian Redmond had a DJ school, and he said to me, do you want to come and work in a DJ school, like teaching scratching? I was like, you know Rob Kane, why the fuck would you ask me? Like I'm all right. Rob Kane's like fucking next level. It's not even like I'm being humble when I'm saying that. He's next level to me. He really is.
Yeah,
phenomenal.
I was made up showing him a baby scratch once. Look, I started. And I never really progressed.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah. That's it, that's all you need. If you can do a baby scratch on a chair well enough, that's all you need. That's all. I get by on that now. So let's go rewind a little bit. So you go to the aquarium. How old are you this time? You're in the aquarium? 16.
Yeah.
So when did it start to change where you, from listening to music, when was the first inkling where you thought, I reckon I can have a go with this? Was it, what, did you say one of your mates had decks as well?
So my mates had there. It wasn't then. It was quite a bit after. I just love going out. I was just into the music then. So I went to the aquarium. Then I went the 051 and wow, that changed everything. But then I went in the 05 early and I heard Dave Graham's house warm-ups because he was playing the house just before he left. And he was playing proper house music early on. And I was like, this is mind-blowing. Like, because I always thought I was into like the tougher stuff because of the hip-hop stuff, because the rock, the new metal, that was like the harder sounds. It was tougher. But I was like, wow, I loved like this disco-y stuff.
It's got a real funk to it, hasn't it?
And then I wasn't until I started collecting music, I'd say, I was about 19, yeah. About 18, 19, and I just started getting songs of what I liked off certain websites and stuff like that. Because there was a website back in the day that someone would go into Freebeat Records, buy a load of vinyls, rip them, and put them up for everyone. So the DJs, all of my era, all know Scouse MP3s, Scouse MP4s. There was a few others. You used to just be able to, you'd put on a thing. Anyone got this? You'd get a DM. So I built my collection that way because by then, when I first got into DJing was 2005. It changed over from vinyls to CDs by then.
And you're all set up.
Pioneers were affordable, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's mad, isn't it? Because I think everyone I've spoke to, they all go through that journey of starting to buy records before. It's almost like you know what, you haven't said it, you haven't vocalized it, you haven't actually fucking...
I just want to know songs.
Because why else would you buy tunes when you can buy CDs and mixtapes and stuff? It's mad how everyone starts buying tunes, and that's like the fucking precursor to getting decks, isn't it?
So what it was, I used to make CDs. Actually, I can go back to a little touch. In school, I was one of the first people to have the internet and a CD burner. So I'd say to people, do a list of 10 songs, I'll do you a CD for a $5. It was a lot of 2001. You know, it's decent. So I'd have a list, but they all wanted the same fucking songs. So it's in different orders. So it started collecting MP3s back then. I probably got files still from then, I reckon. Yeah. But this is all, like, obviously, it's not how, and then found out how to get house stuff, how to get, all the Scouse stuff was all white labels and vinyls, which you had to go to Scouse MP3s and that for, which is, you know, I'm not fully open and honest, that's what everyone did back in the day. You know, that's you got vinyl rips, and then I started buying a few vinyls and stuff that I wanted. Then, even though they were obsolete, I just wanted to have the physical copy. And then I was making CDs for me mates to put on in the cars, making CDs for gyms, stuff like that. But I didn't see it as DJing, but looking back, it is DJing, because it's like, here's what I like. And it weren't mixed, it was put together, you know what I mean?
Well, that's it. The essence of a DJ is sharing your music with other people. It's just over the past 30 or 40 years, it's developed into an art form where it's unacceptable now to just go, I like this track, I like this. Like, you've got to seamlessly blend it together, and now you've got to be more creative as well.
So if you heard me, I'm not a seamless blender.
You don't sell yourself very well, son.
Well, for me, I don't think it is, but a lot of people would say it. But for me, the mixing's the least important part. It genuinely is. You never come back from a night when you watch a boss DJ and go, oh my God, the way he mixed that records. I mean, you go, what a tune he played. And it's about the music.
If you give a DJ who can't mix 10 decent tunes and give fucking James Abelia or fucking James Hype a load of shite, I mean, they might knock something up, but it won't sound as good as the person who can't mix with the 10 decent tunes. It's all about the music. It really, really is. Yeah. But we'll move on to a little bit later because you've got a new event, haven't you? Yeah. So anyway, so just wind back just to touch them. So like myself, you got your first set of decks after the death of a grandparent, is that right?
That's right, yeah. So it was about, I wasn't even thinking of DJ. I just had when we used to go out, my mates, we were out every week. My mates, we used to go all different places as well. And I would go, and then I would always know the songs. Do you know when you know the songs coming in? Like the beat, I'd be like, that's coming in.
Train spotting.
But it wasn't a tune requested either. But I'd go and watch the DJ and I'd be like, two of my mates are like, you need to do this because you know all the songs coming in and I know you'd play better. So my granddad I was really close to, and then he passed away. And it was a week before my 21st birthday. So I got a big dropsy for my birthday, and then people threw a bit extra in and stuff like that. So I had money I was like, this lump sum of money that I hadn't had before, and my mate just said, just buy decks. He said, what's the worst that happen? You can sell them if you don't. They
hold the value, don't they? So
yeah, and so I bought a pair. I was searching because I weren't enough for Pioneers at the time, and they weren't old enough to be second hand. So I got a pair of Numa Axis 9s.
Nice, I had them. The little black jug wheel with the little silver around it.
The effects, yeah. I had them, and I had like my old stack speaker setup plugged into a Behringer 626 mixer. Yeah. And then I upgraded that to the Vestax, but kept the decks.
Yeah. My first ever CD deck was an Axis 9.
Yeah, they weren't bad.
They were fucking decent.
Yeah.
Until you get a fucking the next one for me after that was a Pioneer 800. And there's a fucking massive difference.
I went from obviously but I went from using Axis 9 to thousands, like Mark 2s in my first place. I was like, wow, this is like it was completely different, but it seemed easier.
So you never had vinyl decks? Never?
No, I did. You
started buying vinyl,
I can mix on vinyl. So
well, I'm not saying that, but it's mad.
So I'd never bought vinyl decks. I've always wanted them, just never had the space anywhere I've been. But it's on my hit list to do. Like when
can I just say something that a bit overrated? I learned to DJ on vinyl, and although there's a romantic side of me that goes, I mean, for scratching and stuff's brilliant, but when it comes to mixing, and listen, I'll get some hate for this, and I will. And CDJs are just a fucking league above me. It's a different kettle of fish altogether. Vinyl cracks, it gets fucking dust on it, it scratches, it jumps. If someone walks past the decks and gives it a bump, the fucking needle goes flying. It can be warped. There's so many drawbacks to vinyl, and I've got the romantic side of me to go, I learned on vinyl, and that's all I knew for the first probably 10 years of DJing was just vinyl. But this world we're in now with digital DJing especially, it just opens up a plethora of different opportunities. It really, really does.
But it sounds good.
It does, yeah. I'm old, so I've got to have learned on vinyl.
There's something about the DJ mixing vinyl. The sound of it is different. It's weird.
It is. It really is, yeah.
Because we've had, obviously, me and Si put Carlos Willington on, who's probably one of the best known vinyl DJs in the world now at the moment. And when me and, Danny Fisher, Danny, we were just watching him, and we were like, and he was just doing it. He was using the pitch, you know what I mean, to mix. And the way he was doing it just bothered me. Like, there's just something about the DJ vinyl. It's magic, you know what I mean?
There's something about watching someone who's good at the craft. I always remember, and this is completely off topic now, I always remember years and years ago, fucking hell, must be 20, 30 years ago, and something happened in the back garden, and one of the windows got cracked. And me ex, who I've got the older kids to, hey, Grandad, come round and fit the glass in. And he was a glazer, and he had the putty like that. And I was just watching, like he's like a fucking magician. Like he'd been a glazer for like 40 years. He could do it with his eyes shut. But just watching how quick he was doing, how smooth, it was fucking mesmerising me.
Oh, mate. Yeah, it's just like, I would have to, as you're saying, it's just watching someone do that. I would, but I did learn how to do it because I had mates who had vinyl decks, I had them, so I would, it was still getting to the phase when I end up in after parties that people had vinyl decks, so I just learned that way. But it's just like, it's, as you say, there's just certain records that are all close to me that I want to have to be able to play on vinyl, but I suppose I could just have one.
Yeah.
Don't need the two, you know.
Exactly, you don't need the pair anymore, yeah. Exactly, have you seen the new Pioneer ones as well?
Yeah.
They look fucking sick, then, mate.
Yeah,
with the hot cube and all that kind of stuff.
Don't tell me.
Yeah,
I've been looking at it.
Yeah, you probably only be able to afford one of them. They're a bit fucking pricey, aren't they? So again, wind it back just a touch. You got your Axis 9s, and then you got your 1000s. Was it before or after the 1000s you got your first gig?
So I didn't even get 1000s because what happened was I got the Axis 9s in February. In May, I'd done the bar head all day. It was my first ever gig.
Yeah.
Billy Clements was on before me. That's all.
Yeah. DJ Billy.
Yeah, little Billy.
Yeah.
Who's your stablemate and in demand, isn't she? So
yeah, I was actually talking to Billy on Thursday night about potentially getting on my podcast. Yeah.
Oh, she's boss. Like I still speak to Billy all the time. So we dissed the all day, and then me and my mate started the night in another bar called the Boutique. It was called Couture. We got given a chance because we were in there every week. So we went, just want to do it. You knew we'd all started learning how to DJ.
Yeah.
It was a Thursday. We put Dave Whelan on. It was rammed. So we started. So from then, I was DJing out quite a lot. So didn't really upgrade the setup at home for a good few years later.
Yeah.
So I was pretty fortunate like that. Like I'd done the old bar head all day. I'd done a decent job. It was the first time out using monitors, using this. I didn't scare the crowd off. First couple of mixes were ropey. But you know, I held the crowd and it was decent, and I got to know all the people there. Then I done the Boutique, which done well, and I got to meet other people. Met Andy Mack then, who's does G Bar, Navy Bar. He's been in Navy Bar, I think, 17 years, about as long as I've been DJing. Yeah, so he used to let me come in on the Thursday with him, just do a little hour and that, and I got to know him. And then, so I literally learned on the job. Like, I literally learned everything on the job. I was talking to someone about this, that I didn't really do proper long in the bedroom phase.
Yeah,
I just really lucky.
See, that's the problem we've got today, I think, and I think I've discussed this on a previous podcast. When we had lockdown and everyone was doing live streams, you get someone who goes to Argos and get a £200 fucking controller, and they do a live stream, and they might get, you know, maybe they get fucking 50 followers or 50 views, and they think they're a DJ. And as you've just alluded to then, when you get into a club and it's not your home setup, and there's monitors to deal with, and there's punchers to deal with, and there's staff to deal with, and maybe the floor's a bit fucking slippy where you're normally dancing around, or you're on a box, you know, there's all that to contend with. And that's where these, and God bless them, because, you know, I understand that they want to do it, but they need to understand that just because you can do a live stream doesn't mean you're a DJ, because there's so much more to contend with.
You've got to think as well that live streams, everyone you know following you.
Exactly, yeah.
You're all your mates. They're not going to say
your nan's always going to say you're fucking boss.
Yeah, your nan's going to say that was amazing, isn't it? Like, you know, it's also a thing with lately. People have Spotify playlists and think they're DJs, and when you come up to you and play the other week, I done a party. It wasn't a party; it was a private gig, and they came up and asked for MF Doom. Right, this young kid by 18. I was playing like fairly commercial house at the time, and I went, "You only MF Doom?" I went, "Oh, it's not that type of stuff, play, mate." He went, "What about some Taylor Swift?" And I just looked at her.
Is this like Ant and Dec? What the fuck?
I was like, and then I went, where? And he showed me this playlist that had all them on. So people think that because they have it on their playlist, that everyone wants to listen to that. And it's about pleasing the whole room. And to do that, you are going to, which took me a long time to get used to, you're going to piss 5 out that 100 off. They're not going to like what you do.
Did you ever do functions?
Get the general atmosphere going. Sorry.
Did you ever do functions?
I do them, yeah. I do them.
When you first, so you'll know yourself.
Started,
when you first start doing functions, you can have the dance floor rammed. And when I say rammed at a function could be 60 people.
Oh, yeah.
But you could have the dance floor heaving, and someone comes over, play this, and you're like, oh man, and they go, oh, go on, play it, and you play it, and the dance floor empties. And they know the worst thing is the fucking cunt who asked you for it is sitting down as well. They don't just stand there. You wouldn't mind if they stood up and danced on their own. You think,
oh, exactly. And I say, I'll often say to them, you know, they go like, I'll just be straight up and say that'll clear the dance floor, but I'll try and work it in if the dance floor empties or just wait around it. You know what I mean? But I'll be like, if I do something early on and they sit there, I'll do it before I've got it. Because obviously, when you're DJing, I DJ minimum 5-6 hours. So I have ups and downs, peaks at the start. And if it doesn't work, if they don't stand up for it or do nothing to that song or react, why am I going to do it later on when I've got a shocker?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's mad. So the beauty of what you play predominantly just house music now, don't you?
House, disco, disco.
So you don't get the case that we used to get. We used to get MCs, wannabe MCs, coming down, taking your fucking earphone off and going, hey lads, get on this, right? Skip it, you make it an MC, you know, MC in the place and the bass in the place. Okay, in what other industry would that work?
No, I've had people do stuff like that, but it's been in after hours clubs and he's been around.
They're all off around the bends.
And I'm like, you can't MC to this, there's too many words in it, man. You know what I mean?
You don't get it, do you, at all?
Well, I've DJ'd on a Scouse house night. You heard the Frequency?
Yes.
Yeah, I done a house warm up for them. In Blackpool, yeah.
He's huge, fucking Finchie's huge, isn't he?
Finchie's a top lad. He's like, speaks to, not like regularly text check in, but like speak to him, you know. I'll see him in a couple of weeks and Reminisce, as will you. He phoned me recently. We had a talk over something, and John Neal's same. Alex R, I see all the time.
Yeah,
I've got like, I get on with people from most scenes, to be fair, mate. You know.
Right, so I've got a question for you now. We've discussed this off topic before, off the record. How did you get your first gig in Garlands?
Right. So. I've been DJing for 9 months or something. I've got a big show as well. The fella that started me off in the boutique was Dave Peffard, and I still work to him to this day. He's always looked after me, so Mike McGowan give me a good leg up too, and you know, I always appreciate that. And so what was happening was that a lot of people from the industry were coming to our Thursday nights in the boutique. We had a big, massive build up from, say, August to December. It was chocker every week. It was brilliant. But we're still learning how to DJ, couldn't mix. Got to know more people. There was this lad who used to come and he DJ'd the little room in Garlands Boudoir. He's a character. He was hilarious. He was right away. He's one of the lads, you know what I mean? Yeah. And got to know him. And then so I've been DJing a few months in that, and this is say like March, April 2007. I've been DJing, just over the year. And he said, text him, said, can you get us on the guest list for guys? Yeah, I'm now, mate. So got us on, got in after getting grilled on the door.
You don't look gay enough.
Absolutely grilled by a fella that used to grill us. And then got in. So standing there having a good time. Main room was bouncing. Les was on. Huey had just left. Les Burvey. We're on, it was kicking. I go down at the opening after hours, Bedlam. This was Ralphie, who had got to know Carl, Ralph, Ant Ashcroft, and John Evo. We're on. And the little room was the boudoir. Now, I'll say something else about the music in the boudoir in a minute. But so this lad we know is DJing there. And I'm standing talking to him. And next thing, he just stacks it. Bang, falls over. And like, the music's about to run out and there's people in there. So rifle through the CDs, put something on. And then fucking Barry, who runs the club, Barry Mack, is a proper legendary promoter, isn't he, in the city?
Barry Mack, yeah.
Used to do the aquarium, funny enough.
It is, yeah.
So he comes down, I goes, who are you? I go, well, I'm Chan. Coincidentally, I just started working doing flyers for Garlands because I knew a couple of the lads. Not long after it, so we went to you and I went to Chan, and he went, where's the lad? And I pointed at him on the floor, and he went, so what? It turns out he had narcolepsy when he had a drink, or he just fell asleep every time he had a drink, and pointed at him on the floor, and he went, he's doing that every week. He's one of he said, come back next week with your own CDs and stuff. And I was like, sound. So basically, my job was whenever whenever the lad would fucking stack it, I'd jump on. And then when he woke up, he'd start DJing again. That was what I was doing. That's how I ended up. But then I was on the flyers and that out as well. So I got that little job to keep me ticking over because I couldn't hold the job down when I was trying to work on all these late nights and all that.
Yeah.
So I was extremely lucky. But I felt bad, because the lad was a boss DJ and he was a good mate and all that.
But it wasn't just a flash in the pan because you stayed in Garlands for how long?
He was there till it closed. I was actually
10 years.
DJing, I was DJing the night it got raided. I was the one playing, so it was early on a Thursday night. I'd playing Disciples, They Don't Know. Next minute, fucking yellow and blue.
It's mad, isn't it? Because they get people don't. If you've never been to a club and that happens, they get the door up against the walls and everything, don't they? They storm the fucking place.
Yeah, so they come in from if you ever went in Garland's main room, I take it you'd been in.
Yeah,
they came in from the fucking front, the back fire exit, the side smoking area, fucking everywhere, ran up screaming at me in the face, and they were like, "Turn the music off." And I went, "Yeah." Get the lights on. I went, "I can't." I'm
a DJ.
I'm not a light engineer.
I've just fucking told you I'm a DJ.
Yeah, you'll have to go and fucking get him. And then you'll have to go and get the fucking light engineer, won't you? Because he does it all. And then you were trying to ask me about the decks and all. I was like, lad, are you for real? You know what I mean? So that was heavy. But yeah, I was there till the death, mate. So
after Garlands, obviously, when that closed down, you'd obviously established yourself as a name by then. You've been DJing for 10 years plus. So what was going on after that then? Where was your next venture?
Well, to step to Garlands, sorry, because I do want to talk about it a bit, because I started in the little room, as I say, in the boudoir, and then I got a chance to fill in on a Thursday. The Thursdays, the student nights, which used to get like 2,000 people in there around. Yeah. Got to fill in for the DJ, and then the DJ ended up falling out with the lads who ran it, promotion company from Leeds. So they offered it to me because it slotted in. So I was playing then on a Thursday in the main room to 2,000 people. Then the little room was called the boudoir. And I was ticking over nicely, but in the boudoir, I remember speaking to Barry and like the music policy about what he wants. He went, "Chan," because it's my nickname, he went, "Chan, I want music you can have a tablet to. That isn't dance music." He said, that's the music policy. He said, that's the music policy. So I started getting really heavily into me disco, heavily into like boss funk and soul, boss like early house. I'd seen this documentary called Pump Up the Volume years ago, and I lifted loads of stuff from that, or like the old Weirdos, Larry Levan, Ron Hardy, Frankie Knuckles gear I was playing. And then we started dropping in some like 80s belters, and then even just stuff like Going Loco and Acapulco, if it felt whatever was good, but no house music. So that brought me DJing on unbelievably, because imagine playing 6 hours a night.
You're getting out your comfort zone, that's what it is. It's mad, isn't it? It's quite a taboo subject, and we're going to touch on it a little bit more further down the interview, but drugs in the industry, people have this naivety that like, it's almost like taboo to talk about it. But let's be honest, as Barry Mack alluded to then, without drugs, there wouldn't be a scene. The whole rave scene that's kick-started us off in the late 80s, early 90s would not have happened without ecstasy. 100%. You know,
exactly. It was like it does go hand in hand. You know, it does. It fueled it. If you can watch any documentary on house, dance music, culture, the drugs and the music go hand in hand. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's and you know, it's still private, but there's a good movement today where people are out sober clubbing, which obviously we're going to get to. Yeah. So to go to Garlands as well. So yeah, I was doing that. Was doing the fit, and then I started getting brought in the Bedlam on a Saturday night, which was like the after hours, the main room. Wasn't upstairs, as you know, it was Vegas. What was the downstairs?
The Soho.
So Soho rebranded to Bedlam, and they were remember the recession, the credit crunch, that badly affected town. People think town's bad now, but I remember it being really, and they chopped the DJ lineup, which I don't think they were doing anything wrong personally. I thought they were great at the job. There just weren't enough people out. And eventually I got given a warm-up slot and then me and Adam got given the whole night. He used to put a Max on as Mr. X, and yeah, I was there for like 10 years. Some absolutely unbelievable nights.
I can imagine.
I always loved that boudoir, the little roommate. I used to love going in and doing a little hour when I could. The atmosphere was electric. At one point, there was queues to get in there. It'd open at 1 in the morning, and there'd be people queuing to get down in it. And then Bedlam got like that, and it was boss, because it was just like, with Bedlam, there was no pressure or pressure to play music a certain way. I just played music I wanted to play because I wasn't meant to be there, you know what I mean? I got given a little shot, and I thought, well, let's just fucking grab it with both hands. And really, from doing DJing the first years, it's mainly students that made me build my collection, because they're more open to different genres of music. I'd play house, techno, tech house, drum and bass, early dubstep, well, boss dubstep stuff, not the bro step like Skrillex and that. Talking like Scream, Banger, Casper. I would play a bit of indie, I'd play whatever, but all within the realms of dancing house music. Electro was big. Remember playing like big, I always remember playing like Sidney Sampson, Riverside, and it would take the absolute off. Then play something like Brooks Brothers, Tear You Down, which is a big drum and bass song, loads of high contrast stuff. Deadmau5 was big for me at the time, but he played all different genres, and it was just boss time for music, because all the EDM thing had kicked off in America, so there was so much different music, there's so many different styles, genres of music coming through, and all the way through it was house music, all the way through it, but you could throw them layers on top, and people were getting a full experience. And then when I came into Bedlam, I knew I wanted to do the warm-up. I've always loved warming up. So I was just playing like really boss house music that I did in the likes of like Circus and Warehouse Project and Sankey's. I was big into DC-10. I remember going to watch Ricardo Villalobos and trying some of the stuff he played. And it just didn't work, but I was willing to try it, you know what I mean?
The Couture 303 podcast is now officially sponsored by Dapper Turkish Barbers in Hunts Cross. You can find them on Woodend Avenue, and they do the full service there. The hair, the beard, the ears, the nose, the cutthroat, hot towels, the lot. It's the only barbers I ever go to. Fantastic service, great lads. No need to book, just pop in and see them 7 days a week. If you want a nice sick fade like mine, you will not be disappointed. The absolute best in the area. That's Dapper Turkish Barbers, Woodend Avenue, Hunts Cross. And now back to the show.
Yeah.
So when Garlands came to an end, obviously the night it got raided, did you know that was it at the time?
No, so obviously it went to court and opened back up again, but I was deep into like me partying and me drinking drugs by then, and I just weren't happy. And so we got a job on cruise ships, believe it or not. For
how long?
Done 2 contracts in Australia. Just wanted to get off. Because I weren't having a good time. I'd sunk really, really far into the drinking and the party and the drugs and all that. I was a wreck. I was getting like full-blown psychosis off it, and I couldn't stop. So I thought, if I go there, I'm away from everything then. But what I didn't realise is on the cruise ships, there's a crew bar with the cheapest alcohol you've known. So I was just drinking more. Because you couldn't get your hands on drugs. You're getting drug tested. Australia is notorious for being, expensive drugs. And I weren't in port long enough. So I was drinking every night. To excess, absolutely. And so I'd done 1 boss contract where I was based in Brisbane. The second contract I was based in Auckland. Hated it. Ended up getting off early. And then I came back to Liverpool 2016, like late. And then I was just floating about really. I went back. I was working in just like wherever I could get any work. Just needed the money. Wasn't fulfilling DJing, it was and then it wasn't fulfilling. I was doing what I could to get some money in, because I couldn't hold the job down because of the drinking and drugs. I just needed money for it. And then I just started not turning up to gigs, and a few people reached out to me and gave me some of my old work back, and I just let them down. Which was I regret badly, because they were giving me a good leg up, a good chance, and I did let them down. So I ended up, I was doing slots in G-Bar, doing slots in Kingdom, started working for Dave again a lot, and I just let them all down by turning up down the fucking bend, doing a terrible job if I turned up at all.
So you've touched on it, so we'll just rewind just a touch. So obviously, and we've spoken about this off camera. You're okay to discuss this. I wouldn't just put it on your toes. Like, so if we could just rewind just a touch, then when did you feel for you it started to go downhill? Was it a culminative thing?
About 2012, it was getting really bad for me.
Sorry, how did it start? Did it just start with just recreational
Every
use?
week, recreational, like everyone, yeah. And it wasn't like I was on it midweek or not. It was every weekend. But then I started to hate the weekends because I knew I was going to do it again. And it was killing me. And I was making a show of myself. I was doing a bad job DJing. I lost a lot of I used to DJ in Cardiff for Shangri-La. Lost that. They're now doing Cardiff Castle and all that. I was DJing in Manchester in Venus, which was a top club at the time. Lost that through drugs. I lost all kinds, mate. Just through turning up wrecked, then getting dead paranoid and making a show of myself through drug psychosis. And that it's crazy that it was starting to get bad then, and I carried on for nearly another 10 years. So
I think because the industry you're in as well. Obviously, I've discussed this with a number of people on and off camera, and I think sadly, as we just alluded to, then drugs are part of the scene. And unfortunately, drugs are part of the scene behind the scenes as well. It's the late nights, it's the people you're hanging around with. If you've got a gig at like fucking 2 o'clock in the morning and you've been up since 8 o'clock, since doing whatever, just having your normal day, well, guess what? If you want to try and stay awake past fucking midnight, there's a little bag of something that can help you do that.
And it's like, I used to go, I done a few through Garlands because it was, the Garlands gigs were Saturday nights. So I got to go and live in Ibiza basically for the summer. Because in the summer, the student nights weren't as busy, so they didn't mind me being away for the summer. I had no Friday work, I was just doing Saturdays, so I'd been Ibiza all summer. And so seeing, like, I got invited to some really big parties and stuff, and just to see the level of drug taking going on in the industry is absolutely scary. Seeing some massive big name DJs going under off jeeps and seeing, like, it was just, you realise, like, it was an eye-opener to me, but didn't stop me. You know what I mean?
In the mid-2000s, GB was a fucking big deal, wasn't it? I remember the first time I'd ever heard of it was actually in Garlands, believe it or not. I think, am I right in saying it kind of originated on the gay scene?
Yeah. Well, it started on the bodybuilding scene because bodybuilders used to take it in the early 90s because it puts it in a deep sleep, which does actually produce more natural growth hormone because it sleeps that deep off it, and to help them sleep, and it help people sleep. But then people realised if you actually take a bit of it and fight it, and
you get that euphoria.
Exactly, yeah.
So what drugs were you taking when you were? What did you start with? Cocaine, was it?
Cocaine, ketamine, ecstasy. Done a bit of jeeps, if I'm totally honest, mate. MCAT a couple of times.
MCAT was massive back in the day, wasn't it?
That's the year that I grew up in, mate.
And you fucking stunk the next day.
And on it. And you couldn't sleep off it. They were all on the same night as well sometimes. It's scary,
And that went on for 10 years?
Slowly wound down to just cocaine and alcohol. But then the alcohol use got really out of hand, the fact that I'd wake up with drugs in my pocket. I would have, like, so I wasn't even touching them, I'd buy them, and I just get like that blackout drunk that I would have no recollection. You know what I mean?
So what was the for you? What was the hardest part of dealing with it? Was it the financial side of things? Was it your health, or was it the damage it was doing to your reputation and stuff?
Yeah, it was the mental health and the damage because I'd lost so much from it. I had some really, I could have been much further on in my career than I ended up because of it. Because I just weren't looking for music. I was recovering from the weekend before that much that I'd lost all my creativity, all my get up and go. I'd missed so many opportunities. I just not turning up to places. You don't get many chances. If you're not reliable and you're not flexible, you're nothing. And when you're DJing, unfortunately, that is what it boils down to.
So when did it come to an end? Was it a couple of times where you felt you needed to kick it in the head?
I tried to stop multiple times over the years. Psy Austin was trying to help me. Lee Butler was trying to help me from about 2018, 19. The worst thing I did was I went to DJ. By then I was doing mainly privates because I couldn't face going into town or nothing because I just felt embarrassed. And it was the night before my daughter's birthday and I didn't come home. So that was when I started really like, well, this is really bad. So I was going, and then I carried on for a little bit, but I would come home then, but I'd be like blackout drunk. And I was just hating everything, mate, and I just thought, I can't carry on living like this. And then you go deeper and further with that thought, and you think, actually, I don't want to be here at all anymore. So got to it all came to a head early 22, and I'd been out on a night, I'd been out to do a gig, I had an hour's break, and I was going to DJ in another club. In that hour's break, I went and found someone, found drugs, found alcohol, never came home until the Sunday, about 10 o'clock in the night, something like that. And then I woke up at 3, 4 in the morning. I'd missed a family meal. I'd let people down again. No money from the gig, what I was going for. And then I just thought this the time to end it all. And I basically went to go and do something and snapped out of it. But then I just messaged Liam Marcus, and I was like, right, I need to stop now because I've had enough now. And then so I was hounding him, and then since I joined that, mate, it's been it's best thing I ever did. Not
just the break free initiative.
I joined break free. Yeah, I did try and do like all the. I remember going to Alcas, like there's Alcas, which is Liverpool safe, but I'm based in Knowsley. Their version of Alcas, and went in, and the fellas said, "This is how like if they're underfunded, they're only really suited for people who are alcohol dependent and stuff like that, and chaotic life." But for me, it was just weekends, Monday to Friday I could function. And he went, "Here's what you do. You every time you go to order drugs or get a drink, look at a photo of your daughter." And I said, "Mate, I've got my daughters on my phone every time I order something." So I said, that
doesn't work, mate.
That doesn't work, mate. And he was like, "Can't help you."
Brilliant. Fantastic.
Exactly.
What great advice.
Exactly, mate. And this is from, the drugs and whatever counsellors. And then obviously I've been with me, I've seen how well Sai was doing, seen Lee Butler, obviously I knew Lee Jordan was using, and when he stopped and all that, I've known Lee a very long time. And seeing that, and there's the other lad he does service with, a lad called Marcus, who I've known through my older brother. And I've seen him at his absolute worst, and I thought, if he can stop, anyone can. So I just fully surrendered myself to them and said, I don't want to live like this no more. I'm sick of fucking feeling the way I do, and I hate drinking and using. I can't stop, and I want you to see. And then I literally threw everything into that program. I fucked everything off. I stopped DJing for a month. I stopped. I basically told me head at the time, said, "This comes first. I do these walks, I do whatever they say. I will be on my phone." I said, and she didn't quite get it because she didn't think I was that bad, because I must have been on surface holding it together. Or there's this thing of, you're not as bad as that person because you're not fucking crack dependent on the streets.
Doesn't mean you're not bad,
For me, it's bad because I don't want to live no more. You know what I mean? That to me, that's bad. So if it makes me want to die, why is it not? Why, just because I'm not homeless or on the streets, why is that okay?
Can I ask you, if you don't mind me asking, does your missus drink and take drugs at all?
No, she has the odd drinks. I mean,
so she probably wouldn't understand it. That and that's why I think someone like Lee Butler, obviously, he's a prominent, household name. People know who he is. He knows. He's been there. He understands. You've just gone there to what's potentially a professional organisation, and he's just said, put a picture put a picture of your kids up. Doesn't work, and he's got no plan B. Whereas someone like Lee Butler, who's been there and lived it, would have much better advice.
He has, and he really has. And like, obviously, I've known Lee not long after I started DJing, because I was working in Barhead when he owned it and stuff like that. And I still speak to Lee all the time. Lee, and then, but I just fully, once I seen how that day could stop, I wanted to start. I knew I could do it. And lo and behold, everything he told me to do, I done. And they said to me in the meetings, I said, "You give us some time, you'll get all that stuff back that you've lost." I said, "You'll rebuild this, you'll do that." And I weren't focusing on that. I was just focusing on not drinking and that. And they were right, mate. Everything's come back tenfold, to be fair.
So
I feel
how
like
long's it been now since you last had a drink or anything?
over 8, coming up to 2 years.
Wow.
Well, not 2 years. It's in between 18 months and 2 years.
Yeah.
But you know, let's just call it. Let's
Did you have
call
any
it.
relapses early on?
What?
Did you have any relapses early on?
0? No, nothing.
That's fantastic.
Nothing.
I mean, I think when you're ready, there's a big difference you see between you saying, that's it, enough's enough, I don't like this life anymore, I don't want to do it, and someone saying, you need to fucking pack this in. There's a massive difference in that, because if someone's telling you you've got to pack it in, you don't really think you need to, so you're not going to. Exactly. The fact that you've said, enough's enough now.
Exactly. That's the one thing I've seen people in with drink and drugs that they're stopping for the bird, because the bird's going to take them, or they're going to lose the job.
Or
and that's
not a strong enough
reason. Yeah, that's not a good enough reason. No. You've got to want to stop that. And I've seen people come into it and they just want to stop one or the other. They want to stop drinking, but not cocaine. They want to stop this, they want to stop that.
Yeah.
Total abstinence.
Yeah.
That's the key. Because you do a few weeks under your belt, you feel amazing. Yeah. Then you have ups and downs, and it is a journey. Like, you spoke to Robbie about recovery and stuff like that, and there's others who've been through it. It is a proper journey, but now I look at what I'm doing now, and why the fuck would I ever go back, mate? Say it to people all the time, and I don't mind. I'm back working in all the best venues in the city and all the best events, and people take drugs next to me and like, and with them, and they're like, they think you're going to be like fucking that to them, and it's not. It's just not what I do.
Yeah, I'm not into it. Thanks.
Not interested. I'm more interested in the crowd or the music or like that type of stuff doesn't bother me. It's not. Just like it's like it's like that was a completely different person. Say that to people. I say it was a different life, a different person. And it's like that wasn't me.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, mate, hand on heart, well done for fucking, taking that step, and obviously you obviously you've had your heart and soul into it. That's why you've been successful, and I've no doubt at all that's it. That's behind you. So we're going to change the topic just slightly now. Kanye West.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So, I was saying,
Kanye West. Yeah. How did you end up meeting him?
Forrest Gump moment again. So in 2013, I went to I was flying over to Ibiza to DJ, and when I was there 1 week, 3 of my mates came in. One of them's in the recovery program with me now as well. I was in the recovery program with me, funnily enough. I was DJing in Eden, it was chocolate, boss, and I was obviously a bit inebriated. And they went, where are you going after here? I said, going to the airport in a few hours. He went, no, you're not. And I went, what? He went, we've got a villa. And I went, fucking sound. So just fucking stayed, missed me flight. Went to this villa for a few days. We had some belter nights. We procured Chasing States' rider from Amnesia. A couple of the lads were DJing and they just lifted it.
Shut up.
What could they do? You know what I mean? So anyways, been a few days later, they got off, but I still had a couple of days to kill before the Saturday, but they booked it for a week. So they said, you stay there. And it was like a pool house, the main villa. And the lad used to do sound systems for Function One in Ibiza. So I got talking to him. He was proper sounds only from Chester, a lad called Ollie. And then stayed in touch with him. The year after, I was out there again DJing for Gatecrasher at Port Eden. It come to a thing where he went, do you want to come and live with us in the villa? And then when you're not because I wasn't going home, I said, I'm staying in Ibiza for this, because I had a breakup with a girlfriend and I didn't want to go home. And he said, come and live with us. I said, and what we do all these after parties for like DC10, Paradise. I went with them to drop speakers off to Paul McCartney and stuff like that.
Hell.
Yeah, because they had Function One sound systems, they hired them out to everyone. So like we put like monitor speakers in DC10 and things like that. I just touched lucky, Forrest Gump moment, and then so I'm over there, and he went, right, you need to go and get like a long black t-shirt. Said, sign this. It was an NDA. Can't tell you what we're doing, where we're working, but this is a big party. Like fucking sound. It'd be boss. It was Radio 1 weekend the night before as well. So we turned up to this villa and we're putting the sound system in. They knew what was going on. All like these ranges pull up. Me and my mate, John from Chester, looking over. Who's that? It's fucking Kanye West. Got out with Kim Kardashian and all that.
Fucking hell.
The whole family was in trail. Comes up. And I went, is it his party? Went, oh no, he's doing a live performance here. It was the fella basically saying, all comes out. You know, Givenchy.
Yeah.
Fella called Ricardo TC is the artistic director. It was his 40th birthday party. And Kanye West was just doing a bit on the karaoke for him. But I've got to say, lovely fella. He came up and introduced him. We were all working on the sound. Came up, spoke to every single one of us.
Wow.
Dead, really nice fella. And yeah, so it was mad. That party was in vogue. It had like, it was around the time when, if you remember, Justin Bieber and Orlando Bloom with that scrap. It was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At that party.
Yeah, I remember talking to Puff Daddy. He was sounding as well.
Just dropping it in there.
No, it
just
was
talking to P. Diddy there.
No, it was just, but it was surreal because it wasn't meant to be there. But the best thing about it is the DJs they had on. They had Tansman and Scalacci, the Martinez brothers. These DJs called Disco Smack, who were the freakiest people I've ever seen in life. Boss DJs though.
Fucking hell.
So I go, wait, said to me, go and watch the monitors, Tansman, Scalacci on. And they copped off with models. Well, one of them had, I'm not going to name them because they might have birds or what. And then
Chans of grass.
Yeah, exactly.
Pass it on.
I'm going to like properly blow them up. And then so it turns to me, he goes, do you know the DJ? And in IBF, you always carry your music with you, regardless. Yeah. Do you mind jumping on the decks for us? We want to get off on the sound. So I end up doing like fucking an hour in there.
Okay.
Fucked up, yeah, swear down.
So what year was this?
It's 2014. They're giving these gift bags out. And for doing it for him as a favour, he gave me it. And it had like a Givenchy scarf in, Beats by Dre headphones, give me all. It had all kinds of dead expense. It had like a Beats by Dre Bluetooth speaker in, all this boss gear. Yeah, it was amazing, all this gear in. And he went, yeah, you can have that for doing it. And there was all ale in it, like aftershave. You know them gift bags they go out in the Oscar? Yeah, so that was and then the next night we done Radio 1, which was fucking unbelievable. It was the big one. The last one he done in Privilege. It was the biggest one he'd ever done.
Yeah.
It was insane. What a night that was. I managed doing the sound teching for Scream, Wilkinson, a few other DJs. I was working on the main stage for a bit with like Annie Mac and all that in the big room, talking to her for a while. She's lovely. Danny Howard had just started. I half knew Danny because he used to come to Garlands. So Danny was there. I was having a good talk with him. It was just a mental weekend. And to top it all off, my mate Jono got locked. The lad who was saying he was crackers. He ended up getting locked in amnesia.
Locked in?
He got locked in. And we come back the next day. I was like, where's Jono? Like, we were looking down the island for. We turn up and he just comes out of some fucking container.
With the same clothes on from last night.
Same clothes on with this bag. And in the bag was like, well, there was no toilets. I said to him,
you look like a bag of shit. No, this is a bag of shit.
What I said to him, I said, that's Sam, but why are you carrying it? Yeah. So, mental weekend, that mate. Got to meet like loads of, but it was just literally from all goes down from staying in a villa to overstaying me welcome in a villa to getting to speak to someone who then said, come and stay with us. But some of the parties we done for them, mate, were unbelievable. Some of the like legends. I remember going to see, I'd done an after party in the mayor of Ibiza's on a villa in Escobels, and it's a gaff you've never seen before. DJing back to back to back at one time was Martinez Brothers, Apollonia, Tail of Us, Seth Troxler, and Martin, someone else as well. The maddest back-to-back you've ever seen.
Fucking hell.
Fucking electric. And end of the night, I remember Taylor was finishing with Caribou, Can't Do Without You, if you've heard that.
No.
What a song, mate. It was just like proper, like, And then the sun was like setting, and I was like, fuck, I wouldn't rather be anywhere else in the world. You know,
so speaking of parties, and you mentioned Carlos Wellington before.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us about your latest venture?
Yeah, so obviously I've put events and that on before over the years, a couple of bands, but due to the drinking and the drugs and that, I just could not. I didn't have no confidence that what we do would put on. Me and Si were for ages, and I'm talking a few years. We've been trying to put something together. I've known me and Si get on really well. We connect.
Si Austin.
Good, yeah, Si Austin. Sorry, another one of your label mates. We were thinking that we'd send each other stuff. We should book this. We should do that. And then it was just coming. I'd just got myself sober, and I'd put on a sober boat party with Lee Butler last summer, and it was a raging success. And I got my confidence back. We'd sold the boat out. It was boss. The video, I put videos on my Instagram the other day. It was bouncing, and I thought, yeah, all right, I'll have it. So then I go to Ibiza, I go to Glitterbox, and I was just blown away. I was in the toilets in high, and then I just knew I had to put a night on. So I said to Si, I said, come on, let's do this night now. We know, I said, I'm fully in. And we were always going on about Carlos and the streams. He's at first you watch it's quite strange, but then you realise how good the DJ is.
He just loves the music. He gets right in the zone, doesn't he?
Exactly. And he's the so we messaged them. I said, if you got an agent or that, I went, no, I did it myself. And he went, how much you are? Told us how much we are, and get it over now, because it was a fucking steal. Absolute steal, mate. Yeah. And then we put it on in Kitchen Street, and we sold out.
What's the night called?
Paradisco.
Paradisco. You and Si Austin.
Si Austin. Si, we're a partnership on it. We both do different sides. Just a wizard on social media and stuff. We both have a lot of input into it. I do like the Spotify playlists and things like that. Then we done our second event a few weeks ago, brought Carlos back. That sold out even quicker. It took the city by storm.
The atmosphere. I mean, I've seen videos of like, obviously for me personally, that's not my style of music that I really appreciate. I wouldn't know a fucking good house DJ from bad house DJ. I wouldn't know a good house tune from bad house tune. Yeah. But what I do know is atmosphere. And the videos I see from that night, we were talking before about Neil Walsh.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Neil if you're listening or watching. Neil Walsh, our mutual friend, and he put videos up as well. You put videos up, Si put videos up, and obviously Carlos Wellington. But the atmosphere just looked like the old days. Everyone was in such a fucking good mood.
Well, that's it. So the age of the crowds, like it varies from say like 25 to 60. They're all from like you get clubbers from the Quad, the State, the 051. Society, Garlands, all the good. No one's on the fucking phones, mate. You see a few videos, you don't see many. Yeah. Because no one's videoing all night. It's just an old school throwback. It's like it's all about the music, and the crowd is so diverse, mate. We've got like you get everything from wags to like old like people that used to go to like the original gay bars in the city, and everyone in there just having a good time. Yeah. It's just we put a lot of thing into it, like be friendly. It's not, we want to make it like a proper like happy Berghain if you know Berghain in Berlin. It's sort of like it's got this really good inclusive atmosphere, but the music's industrial techno. We're trying to bring back all the best clubs in under one. Yeah. And that includes music. The music is straight up house. We've got a good range of DJs. We brought in some boss, and it just all adds to the atmosphere. Everything we do is deliberate. It's not like we've just slapped this together. We've put a lot of thought into everything, and it shows in the crowd that come and the night that people are having. And if you see the feedback to everything,
the reviews I see it on Instagram. I mean, it looked the part. Like I say, regardless of what anyone was saying, if you just look at the comments blew me away. It really looked like a good night. So when's your next one?
It's sold out. Sold out in 10 hours. We put it out on a Friday morning, and it was gone by Friday tea time. Wow. So yeah, that's sold out. It's
give it a plug anyway. When is it?
November the 18th in Kitchen Street.
And it's sold out. It's fucking hell in that far in advance. That's fantastic.
Yes, but I will say if anyone fancies it, join the waiting list on Skiddle, or maybe.
Brilliant. Have you got any aspirations to move to a bigger venue, or are you going to keep it as it is?
We love the venue, to be fair. I would rather do a load of really boss parties, but we have got, and we're putting something together for a bigger party. But with that comes, obviously, you need to invest more into your lineup, invest more into your production. And, you know, we're 3 events in, we are building a really good core crowd. We're getting a loyal crowd. We don't want to really have to dilute it by letting just anyone in. So with everything we're doing at the moment is really deliberate. But I will say, watch this space. We've been to, well, I can't really say much. We just watch this space on that. But we're really keen to make sure that the regulars are looked after and feel part of it, because they are. We wouldn't be anywhere without them.
I didn't know it was only your second event. It looked like a well-established night, so you're doing something right. So how can the people get on this waiting list then? What's the website?
Skiddle. Yeah. We've done a few little free events as well, which have been electric. We've done one in Zen on the rooftop before we do an alfresco disco. And then we done one in Bodega, which is probably one of the most underrated venues in the city. And then, so join Skiddle, Paradisco, but we have got stuff coming up quite a bit. I've literally had an email ping through as we're on here now, because I'm on my MacBook and I need to check it. But we are working on stuff, but we're also making sure that the DJs we put on a melon bomb on the next one on the 18th of November, which is sold out. But there should be some more tickets coming out. So join the waiting list. Melon Bomb play. Go and Google them, mate. They play the Toilets in High and Ibiza. Have you seen the Wild Corner?
No.
Have a YouTube of that. And Paul Reynolds is from the Wirral, very well established DJ. He plays after David Guetta in High main room. He plays a Schweier. He does Black Coffee in High. He's an unbelievable DJ, massive inspiration behind what we're doing. We want to bring, we basically cherry picked all the best parts of the nights we've been to in Ibiza and put it under one roof for everyone, and that's what generates the atmosphere. I don't think we're not going to go the way of like big fancy LED signs and all that, but the production we're talking about putting in stuff that'll go, wow, it'll probably freak some people out. So
sounds fantastic. So Reminisce 2023, you are indeed on the lineup. When can they catch it in there? Where are you playing?
Garlands tent. I'm on 9 till close. 9 till close. So back to back with Adam Wilson. Then I believe me, John, Little John, Les, and Adam are going back to back. I believe. I could be wrong. But I do know I'm on 9 till 11. And I'll be around there, but I'll get there nice and early, so I'll see you there, mate.
I'll definitely see you there, So before I go to me quick fire questions, I've got 4 words for you. Paddy, the baddie, Pimlet.
Forrest Gump, aren't I? So, years ago, because he used to DJ in Bedlam, it was open late, and I would DJ, because I'd done the warm-up, Adam would do the last hour between 5 and 6. So I would go upstairs and watch the UFC with the doorman. The main events always start at 5, don't they? It was Nick Diaz versus GSP. And I was going, I was like, why don't he just stand up? And he was talking to me about jiu-jitsu. And I went, I probably want to learn it. And he went, like, go to next gen. Give me the number of someone. I started doing privates with them. And then I started joining the main class. And in the gym was, like, I got to know everyone in there just through working in Club B and Sound, and then got training with Paddy and that, and since he was a kid, mate. He was a blue belt, I think.
He's still a fucking wizard on the ground, though, wasn't he?
Like back then, it was like, the way to describe it is grappling with a wet blanket. I mean, I'm a blue belt myself, you know what I mean? I haven't trained for a while, but because I've had a back injury, but I was in there morning and night training a lot. I used to do privates with Paul, the owner. I'd train in every class I could. I was boxing, sparring, loved it. So I got to know them because I was in the gym all the time. Just before I went to Australia, Paddy was like, come up to me on the mats and went, I want to do a walkout song, Chan. But I want this, this and this. And I'll tell you what, I'll bring my laptop tomorrow and we'll do it. So we're on the mats in next gen upstairs above the 05, just piecing it together how he wanted. And fucking, lo and behold, it's probably the most famous vocal song in the world.
It really did. I mean, the videos, I seen him play, I seen him play, I seen him fight in the Echo Arena for, I think it was Cage Warriors. I think it was one of his last fights before he signs the UFC. No, it was the night when he got beat, actually. He got beat.
Sorenbach, was it that one?
Paramani.
Yeah.
I think it was, what's his name?
Naramani.
That's it, Naramani. Yeah, it was that
held
night.
him down, yeah. He just held him down for the fight.
Yeah. We were fucking, I went to see that with my missus and my missus's dad. So what happened that was, I got the tickets to see Cage Warriors, and my missus was pregnant with me little lad. So that's 6 years ago now, over 6 years ago. And when the night come about, it was like, I think it was like March. Jenny was like fucking 6 months pregnant. She was like, I can't go to a fucking cage fight event looking like this. So she went, my dad will go. So our fella come with us, and we were like, we had really good seats. So while we were there, my bird texted me, said, "Hey, look, get on the fucking telly on the screen. It looked fucking mad, like, yeah, it was good." So
I went to a few of the early Cage Warriors, like, in there, it was always chocolate next gen fighters.
Yeah.
I've known loads, like, I've got to know Molly dead well and stuff like that. All through the gymnast, just through me wanting to learn jiu-jitsu, happening to walk in that gym and just talking to people the way you do. You know what I mean? And then I speak to I done DJ's wedding, didn't I?
That's right, yeah.
So, and I still speak to him a lot, but I never speak to him like just about. He's an Iton lad like me. You know, got loads of mates in common. I walk in somewhere and he's just there, and like he used to DJ for his mates. That he doesn't play footy. Admittedly, he says he's crap. He's not that bad, but his mates. I do all the footy. Used to do the footy teams nights out. They'd have like a night out for Kimbo every year, a DJ on that. They were fucking wild, mate. But not for him, to be fair, not for him. He really
calmed himself down, wasn't he? Because he had a reputation with a party, didn't he?
Yeah. When he was a kid though. He was 20 years old, mate. You know what I mean? Now he's proper sensible. He's a good lad.
I remember going to I got tickets to see Omach. But about the time you started DJ, but about 2007, 2008. And I got me tickets off this lad called Paul. Didn't think nothing of it. So I met him outside to get them. It was fucking Paul Sass.
Oh, fucking
and I was like,
I know Paul as well. Yeah.
I was like, look, I went, you're Paul Sass. Like, and he went, and I'm like, he was just stood outside selling me the tickets.
So his mate, so he used to work in Barhead, and then when Lee had it, and then it got took over, Peffard bought it back with someone else, and I got brought back in by Dave, because once again, I worked for him the whole time.
Yeah.
And then you know the Barhead all day that I started on?
Yeah.
They give it to me to organise.
Okay,
so the amount of DJs I put on that who've went on to do well, I put fucking loads on. And how I got to know Paul Sass was one of the lads on the door, Joey, his little brother Paul, was a DJ. He said, give him a slot. And I'm like, go ahead then, Sam. And so then I got to know all them through that. And then he was in Garlands every week, Paul. I think he just left the UFC by then. Remember his triangle and everyone, weren't he?
I've got a video on my YouTube. I think it's got about 6,000 views. I went to see him. He was fighting a fellow called Harvey Herrera. And at that point, he was already in the Guinness Book of Records for most consecutive triangle wins. Yeah. Everyone knew what was coming.
Like 11 in a row or something.
Something daft like that, yeah. And then on this fight, I was there. I'm filming it on my fucking Sony Ericsson K800 fucking phone, and he fucking triangled the lad. You know what to expect. You just couldn't get out of it.
It's mad, like with that. See, I get to know loads of them because they all work on doors at one point. They all working on the doors at one point, so I got to. You just get. The way I am as a player, I'll speak to anyone. You know what I mean? But some of them, you think they're not approachable, but they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, to get a surprise.
All the time, they're just fucking knackered.
You're fucking training all day and then working all fucking night.
Exactly. Yeah. So you know. I've been proper lucky, as I say, Forrest Gump, mate, just like
Right, Chan, I've kept you for long enough. I'm going to finish off now, as we always do, with some quick fire questions. You've probably heard these before. And Chandler, I will take your first answer and your first answer only.
Oh, go on.
Are you ready?
Yeah, go on.
That was the first question.
Yeah.
Rocky 3 or Rocky 4?
Oh, it's got to be Rocky 3.
Summer or winter?
Winter.
Vinyl or digital?
Digital.
What current TV show are you watching on Netflix or anything?
I've just watched Hip Hop Evolution again.
Decent.
Bought a documentary. Seen it?
No. Good.
Watch it. Yeah, just because it was the last couple of Fridays ago was the 50th anniversary.
That's right, 50th anniversary. Yeah.
Yeah, so I watched the documentary again. Watch it tonight.
Yeah, I'll have a look at that tonight.
It's in about, I think it's 12 parts.
Yeah, oh sad. Alive or dead? Who would you go and watch in concert?
Richie Horton. Love Richie Horton.
Yeah, techno DJ.
Yeah, but his live stuff, like, don't know, mate. As I say, such a wide taste in music. That helped me with me. I'd love to see Larry Levan in the Paradise Garage. Yeah, that's the one. Or on Hardy and Music Box. It's all between them. Both died young, didn't he? So.
Yeah. The 27 Club, probably. So you walk into a shop and it's fully stocked. What would be your go-to chocolate bar?
Oh, Galaxy.
What scares you?
Ooh, rats.
Yeah, there's one behind you, on the couch behind you.
Probably yeah.
What would be your first purchase if you won the Euro Millions?
Oh, I'd probably give it to me mates and my family to make sure they're all right. Really, to make sure that they probably first purchase would be a house for everyone, just to make sure they don't have to pay a mortgage no more. Yeah.
So would you class me as a mate now?
Yeah.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
What's your favourite swear word or insult?
Bellend.
Pineapple on a pizza, yes or no?
Oh, hell no.
Favourite DJ or dance act?
I've got so many, mate. I couldn't really pick one.
I'll give you three then. You can have three.
I'll have three. Richie Horton's always up there. Luciano. And see, the third one's the hardest. Who's the last boss person I've seen? Do you know what? Crystal Clear.
Yeah.
How'd
you like your steak?
Rare.
What superhero would you be?
Oh, Logan. But Logan, not Wolverine.
Not Wolverine. Funnily enough, the last podcast was Club Filler, and he said Wolverine. I was like, fucking hell, good answer. Do you want to be Logan?
Yeah, but I like him because he's a bit more fun. I'm not into superhero films, but I love Logan.
Yeah.
What a film.
Blade. I'm a big Blade fan, mate.
That's because the music.
Some people don't realise he's not he's a superhero. He's Marvel, isn't he? Yeah. Alive or dead? Who would you have dinner with?
Tough one, that isn't it? I'd probably Larry Levan. Pick his brain. Yeah, he's if you don't know about him, research him and look up on him, mate. He's the founding father of everything we do.
Yeah. What's your pet hate?
Shit requests that don't fit in with what you're playing.
And the last question: what's the best podcast you've ever been on?
This one, obviously.
Hey! They all say that.
Yeah. You got
right, so this podcast is probably going to come out the Wednesday before Reminisce Festival. So 2 weeks for us, 2 weeks on Wednesday. But for the people listening, it'll be the Wednesday before Reminisce. So what have you got lined up? You got Reminisce, 9 till the finish in the Garlands tent.
Yeah, I believe that I'm just waiting for confirmation on the after party. I'd have to get my diary out. I've got quite a bit on me nowadays. I'm playing Zen most Saturday afternoons in the terrace, 6-hour set. That's a bit of a musical journey. Starting off with Paradisco edits at the end of the night. We're playing some really decent house music. Even a bit of R&B and rap thrown in if the crowd's there for it, to be fair. I've obviously keep your eye on Paradisco. Got all, there'll be more stuff that'll come to me that I'll make.
So where can they follow Paradisco on Instagram and stuff like that?
We are Paradisco on Instagram. I'm on Instagram and Chandler 1. I'm not very consistent with it, turning it off midweek because I don't want to get sucked into it all the time. It's terrible for staying up later than I can, looking at stories. But I will get back to your message eventually.
Yeah.
Just don't get
put all the details on the bottom here. I'll put them all on the bottom. And thank you very, very much for your time. Thank you for your stories. Thank you for your honesty. And once again, mate, hand on heart, congratulations for the journey. For seeing what was wrong and writing it yourself. Like I say, people forcing you into these things. It's got to come from the heart, and obviously you've seen you in a bad place. So genuinely got full respect for you, mate. Hats off to you.
Awesome, mate. Thank you very much.
Anyone going to say hello to or any requests?
No, nothing. All good, mate. Yeah, just looking forward to seeing you on at Reminisce. Be good for it. Be loads of DJs, but
I know, yeah, that's absolutely what he was talking to me today. I think it was Club Filler again, and he said the best thing about Reminisce is it's like a fucking like the boys' club. Everyone...
Do you know Steve? I introduced him to Mike the Scala, and he became Club Filler after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Fucking hell. Little dropping, last little nugget of knowledge for man.
Forrest Gump there. There you go.
Right. Thanks very much for tuning in, everyone, guys. As I always say to you on every podcast, I don't know who or what is next. I've got a pretty good idea this time, but I'm not going to say that. Until next time, guys, take care. Thank you.
See ya.